All right, well, here's my story of being gluten-free. Obviously, it's not by choice. I adore those people who do it by choice, and I'm crazy jealous of them because it must be nice to have a choice. I started getting really, really sick. I was in my late 40s, and I just got really, really ill. And I was living in Missouri, and I was sure something was crazy wrong with me. This is Ollie, by the way. Isn't he cute? He's my baby. All of a sudden, I was getting all kinds of pain in my stomach. I had nonstop pain. It was left-sided, like lower pain over here, kind of by where your kidney is. And I'll leave it alone. I was sure, something must be wrong inside of me. And I did keep getting bladder infections. I don't know if that was tied to it or anything. So I had been on antibiotics for a long time. Also, I'm just going to throw this in. I have no idea whether it had anything to do with it. But we were on a well when we lived in Missouri. And when we went to sell that house, the guy, we could not get our water to pass inspection. And the guy that came out and inspected it, he did the shocking the well and putting all this chlorine in it and all that. That's supposed to kill all the bacteria. Well, our bacteria just would not be killed. It was not going anywhere. And we ended up having to have some specialists come out and figure out what the problem was. He pulled out what's called the well bladder. It's like a big tank inside your well that holds water, and so it's pressurized so that when you turn your faucet on, the water comes out. And so what he did was he pulled that out and he emptied it, and like all this brown, gross water came out. And we had been drinking that. So I know I was drinking contaminated water for quite a while. It had been contaminated with several different bacterias, and like I said, I kept getting bladder infections and stuff. I don't know if it was because I was drinking all this contaminated water. I don't even know if that's a possibility, but I didn't get bladder infections before then or after it was fixed. So anyway, that was right before I ended up having to go gluten-free. I've always wondered about whether bacteria kind of brought this on in me, because like I said, for most of my life until I was in my late 40s, I could eat gluten. I loved bread. That literally was like my favorite thing. A nice fresh hot piece of bread, and that getting the crust just crispy and and really soft inside. And like, I remember these things and I dream of them these days, because you can't find really, really great gluten-free bread. It's pretty rare. Anyhow, that was my journey. That's what started it for me. A lot of pain, huge amount of pain, a lot of gas, a lot of diarrhea. I had diarrhea for 6-8 months straight. Just horrible feeling, because when you get that sickness and your stomach isn't right and you're in a lot of pain, you just feel so off. And I'd go to work and I'd literally bring my heating pad to work and plug it in under my desk and just be holding my heating pad on my stomach. It hurt so bad. And that went on for almost a year. And I had gone to the doctor several times. They did several tests. I was losing a lot of weight too. I lost I think over 20 pounds. I was down to 108 pounds and I looked really skinny. Mind you, I was almost, pushing 50 at this point, and 50-year-olds usually aren't 108 pounds. So that was just weird that I lost that much weight too, and I couldn't keep weight on me. And I was really afraid that I had that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, EPI, because it happens to animals sometimes, and they lose weight, and it has something to do with fats, and they can't absorb the fats. And so I was looking at all this crazy, strange stuff, thinking that, I must have something wrong with me. The doctors can't figure it out. What's new? And so I was trying to figure it out myself. Well, it turns out I finally ended up going to a specialist in St. Louis at SLU. And they told me I should try to stop eating gluten. And I literally looked at them and said, well, isn't that gluten thing just made up? I literally said that. I did. I truly thought that was something that like yuppies did, and it was like a kick diet that people wanted to do, but I didn't think it was something real. And I realized after going off gluten, this thing's real. That was my problem all along. And I'm here researching all this like kind of rare out there stuff because how could it be something so simple? And something that at the moment I didn't believe in. I really didn't believe in it. I didn't believe that was a problem. And I always say, so I kind of deserve to get this because I was one of those skeptic people like, oh yeah, you can't eat that. I was the person that I hate now. All those people that are like, oh, just eat that cookie, you'll be fine. I was that person. I mean, I really just thought all that stuff was kind of made up. So I deserve this. Part of me deserves this. I know that. It's true. It's true. But yeah, this stuff, it obviously, when you see such a huge change and such an improvement, because it's not just your stomach feels yucky, right? If you have this, you understand that it affects your moods too. It can make you feel really glum, really down, really starting to feel depressed, and you don't know why, but everything in the world just seems hopeless almost. Or it can make you have this ridiculously excessive anxiety to the point that you're like, there is nothing in this world that should be making me feel this anxious. Like, why do I feel this anxious? It can be ridiculous. So that's one thing for people who are depressed or anxious. Know that it can make you mad too. Gluten can affect you. They call the gut your second brain, and I agree. I mean, I concur with that because it affects you. It affects your moods. And I know, when I accidentally ate gluten the last time, I told my husband, hey, this weekend, if I'm grouchy, and let me apologize right now because I accidentally ate that gluten, and we know what that can do to me. It can either make me grouchy, depressed, or anxious. Take your pick. So it's not fun. It definitely can affect your moods. So anyway, that's to sum it all up. That was my journey. I went gluten-free, and I saw a big change, and I was like, oh, that stuff's real. I did have the test for celiac disease. I don't have the gene, and they couldn't do the when they go up, colonoscopy. I have really bad problems with, or they couldn't do the endoscopy. I think it's the endoscopy they need to do to get in the right in the colon, right below your stomach. I don't know. I'll just say I have super, super bad problems with anesthesia. I mean, like, if I have anesthesia, I've almost died, like, every time it's been put in me. So literally it crashes my blood pressure and my heart rate. Like, the last time my blood pressure was 72 over like 38, and I don't even know what my heart rate went down to, but I know they were freaking out, and they had me up in the bed, like my head down here, and I wouldn't wake up from the anesthesia, so they freaked out about that. And I'm just not one of those people you want to put under anesthesia, which is why I wear a medical bracelet to warn people. So, I have to be careful about the scopes and all that stuff. So I just sort of avoid that. I don't have the gene though, but clearly I do have problems. And the crazy thing is, my son suffered with depression and anxiety as a 20-something. And he just, I told him, hey, maybe, because I was not an anxious person at all before that started going on with me. Not at all. Not at all. I was a pretty calm, mellow. It took a lot to get me upset. I was, even my employees would say before, I've never seen you mad. I've never really seen you mad. I had really good control over my emotions, and I'm not saying I don't anymore. I'm back to my normal self. But during that time where I accidentally would eat gluten, it would get the best of me sometimes, of my emotions, because they're just so strong and you're feeling weird and you don't know why. So it really worries me about people with anxiety disorders that have been diagnosed with depression, because there's so much other things in this world that can affect that and make you feel those ways, and you may not have any sort of mental illness at all. You may have a gut illness and it's causing those problems in you. And I wish doctors would look more into that, because the connection is irrefutable to me. So anyway, that is my journey. I went gluten-free. I've been gluten-free for probably a good 4 years or so. And I kind of got my life back. But it's also a little bit of a depressing life, in the sense that, you know, you go to the grocery store, you look around, you feel like you're at a cemetery. Everything you used to love is there, but you can't enjoy it. You know, you can't enjoy it. I get frustrated going to the grocery store a lot of the time, because having to read those labels, and then I can walk out with a very, very few things. I personally don't eat beef or pork either, and so that makes it even harder. That's a choice of mine. And then I'm one of those people that can't eat corn, because my body mistakes corn for gluten for whatever reason. There's certain crossover things that, weirdly, I can eat corn starch, but I cannot eat corn. Explain that. So anyways, I have to be really, really super careful about the things that I eat. Some of those, like I said, are by choice, but some of those are just, I can't do it. So going to the grocery store is really rough, because I don't walk out with a lot of food. I live in a very rural area. It's very pretty, but there is not a lot of choices here. Enjoy my cat. Excuse us, please. And so I have to drive probably about 40 minutes to get to a grocery store, Deerberg's, that actually has some gluten-free food, and it's marked. That's what I'm always looking for, is gluten-free. That's marked on the shelf that tells me what's gluten-free, because trying to go through every item in the grocery store and find something you can eat is ridiculous. So I really, really super appreciate those stores that mark their items gluten-free. Anyway, finding food is not the easiest to do around here. I do mail order certain things, because that's really my only option. And but I do like to try new things, and I'm always on the hunt for something that's good, that is within my dietary restrictions. And I will share them with you on this channel. And you know, if you find something you really like, put in the comment section too, because I would love this to be a place where we share with each other. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.